Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. Today I have a short news roundup for you guys to keep you informed of everything happening in Battlefield. There are a couple of new gadgets that DICE have been showing off via their social media, so I do want to show that to you guys. And then we've had a pretty substantial patch for Battlefield 2042 that has changed a couple of things that I think a lot of you need to know about if you're leveling up the Battle Pass in order to unlock the Battlefield 6 rewards. So without further ado, we're going to jump in a sec, but before we do, as always, if you guys enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. There will be a lot more to come on Battlefield 6 and beyond in the future, and if that's something you're interested in, then this is going to be the place to be. And as always, thank you guys so much for your ongoing support. Really does mean so much, though. Thank you guys so much for that. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at some of the gadgets that we haven't really seen much of in Battlefield 6, and the first one here is the sledgehammer. So DICE have released this slide, and it says the sledgehammer allows for the demolition of walls without requiring explosives. It can also inflict a small amount of damage on vehicles, and they do have a little video for us here. So you can see him just taking down this wall, absolutely like decimates the cars blow up as well from like the wall falling on them, and then this guy gets splattered here as well. So just taking a look at that again here, if we look at the bottom one, this guy gets splattered here from behind, and just look at the blood effects on the screen, on the weapon. Recently, it's been announced that this is going to be one of the few Battlefield games, at least recently, that has had a high, like a gore rating, meaning you are going to have to be like of a certain age. It's getting the gore rating here. You can see blood, violence, strong language, which previous Battlefield games, like I don't think Battlefield 5 had it, I don't think 2042 had it, so it's nice to see them going back in a little bit of a mature direction, you know? Yes, I'm gonna give you dinner soon, okay? Then they've also shown us here the new assault gadget, the ladder, and this says provide your team with access to higher ledges and new points of entry. The assault ladder can also be used as a ramp depending on placement angle. Some of you who've seen the Battlefield 6 Labs leaks will probably have seen this gadget in action before, but for those of you who haven't, this is like the first official footage of somebody just using it here, and this is on the Abbasid map, so unfortunately no new map on display here, but there we can see the ladder mode to reach the second floor of this building, and now you can see how he's using it as a ramp, actually to gain a vantage point and potshot somebody potentially through the windows of that decimated truck there. So that's a really nice feature. Like, I like how usable this gadget is here. You can just sort of plonk it down wherever you are. You don't have to be too finicky about lining it up on a building and having it, you know, work. It just seems like it will work on pretty much any surface, and whether it turns into a ladder or a ramp depends on the angle of where you put it. Okay, next up, let's talk about the new update for Battlefield 2042. So this one has just been posted like a couple of hours ago, and I wanted to fill you guys in. I know most of you probably aren't here for Battlefield 2042, but if you are trying to complete the Battle Pass and you want the Battlefield 6 cosmetics, this is going to basically apply to you, at least some of it is. So let's just take a look at this here together. So this is update 9.2.1. And they say here, tomorrow, Tuesday, 9th of September, we will be rolling out a small hotfix update in response to community feedback and changes following previous update 9.2. So this is the changelog here. So first of all, this is for the Phantom project, the Phantom Prospect, or whatever you want to call it. It says the Penguins have seen individuals brute forcing into the Phantom project and have added additional defenses to ensure the reward is for operatives who are fully deserving of the loot that awaits. And of course, what they're referring to here is the glitch that we could utilize here to get through a wall into an elevator and unlock the prototype weapon, which is supposed to be the final reward for completing the Phantom project. I did have a video on that. I'm sure most of you guys will have already unlocked it. I've already unlocked it, but just know if you find that video or somebody else's video, that is no longer going to work because they fixed it, unfortunately for us. So then we have weapons and gadgets here. They fixed an issue on the Lynx, that's the new sniper rifle, where extended magazine reload was slower than intended. The reload animation is now faster, making it look less like slow motion and more like just motion. Fixed an issue with the Lynx's recoil and camera motion. They fixed an issue where the accuracy is lower than intended when standing still for the Lynx, so it seems like kind of ironic here that this is a new weapon and seem to have been somewhat broken there. There's been a balance pass with the SWS-10 and the armor-piercing rounds and the master key. If you recall, they removed this from the game because that was unbelievably broken when the Iwo Jima patch came out, so it sounds like they've put that back in again now. And then they fixed an issue where multiple underbarrel shotgun attachments on vault weapons were not tracking progress towards quests that require you to get kills with underbarrel shotguns. For example, the unlock quest for the AK-5C, and then they fixed an issue where the SOFLAM and tracer dart interaction with a vehicle would not show target acquired messaging. And then for maps and modes here, renewal has been returned to Team Deathmatch. Okay, that's cool. For player cards, they've fixed an issue where the names of player backgrounds always check your rear and teamwork makes the dream work were accidentally swapped. Okay, just a small fix there. Now, this is really the important stuff that I think most of you will be interested in. Weekly missions and progression. So they fixed an issue where some weekly missions about doing actions with vault weapons would not track with the M1 Garand in All Out Warfare. And then tier skip functionality is now active on the Road to Battlefield 6 pass. So what that means is you guys will now be able to pay if you want. I'm not suggesting you do that, but if you would like, you can pay to skip the tiers. And this is actually very clever of EA and of DICE because they realize that anybody coming into this battle pass right now is probably going to be massively behind, and so those people can pay to catch up. And for anybody who just can't be bothered with it anymore and they don't want to play Battlefield 2042 but they want the cosmetics, they too can decide to skip. I will be completing mine because I'm at level 49, so I'm not going to pay anything for this. Again, it's up to you if you want to do it or not. I'm not necessarily encouraging you to do that, but it is an option. So there you go. And speaking of getting tiers on the Battle Pass, here are the weekly missions. So for the Tier 1 here, and you'll see they've increased the points here. So this time for Tier 1, we get 5 points, up from 4. And the first one is get a roadkill, smoke grenades thrown, and then intel ribbons earned. Very, very easy. For Tier 2, we now get 6 points for each. Enemies spotted with the SOFLAM. So that just means you need to lock on to people now with the SOFLAM. And then we've got kills with Battlefield 3 or Bad Company 2 weapons. Basically, this just means you have to use the weapons that come from those games. So any of the vault weapons, they're usually marked with a little tag. If you go in-game, get kills with those weapons. And then enemies disrupted with EMP or concussion effects. I would just spam EMP grenades for that one, nice and easy. Kills with shotguns. Damage inflicted with C5, kills and revives with the defibrillator, and then kills from a distance of 25 meters or less. Probably take like a shotgun for that one once again, and you can probably do it in fact with this one there. So pretty easy week, this one. Now, last but not least, I wanted to show you guys this. This is not official, like, Battlefield 6 stuff. This is concept art, fan concept art, in fact. But this guy has been doing these for a good long while. He's been making map concepts, and every time he does one, I think he knocks it out of the park. He's called Emad Alden. I'm going to link him on Twitter down below, but this is his account here. And this concept he's put up is for Washington, D.C. map concept exploration, he says. And it looks really, really cool, right? He's, you know, an artist, so he basically just makes some artwork around it to show you what a map based in Washington, D.C. could look like. He's done countless others in the past, so if you're interested in this kind of thing, I recommend going through it. And here is a map layout. So we've got this large monument here. Like, I'm not sure what all of this stuff is. People who live around the area, maybe you know and can identify some of these buildings. But can you imagine a map based in DC? You know, we've already got a couple of maps coming in LA, like in California. So I think having something based in DC could make a lot of sense. You know, we've got buildings here on fire. Everything's going absolutely mental. Like, this just looks really, really cool to me. And in fact, I've seen some of this guy's concepts being implemented very closely by DICE. So he did a volcano concept not that long ago during the life cycle of Battlefield 2042. And of course, eventually we saw Iwo Jima come along, which is a volcanic island. That volcano wasn't quite erupting. It wasn't like a Levolution event, but it was oozing, let's say. It was seeping. So just thought I'd show you guys that if you want to go and check him out, he's a great guy to follow on Twitter if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. That is going to round up this little news video. If you enjoyed or found it informative, leaving a like is always appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with everything Battlefield, and I will see you all in the next one.